Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Try5 Guy, and yeah, we're working on the VR Ute again on its road to get back on the road. Alright guys, like I said, the plastic nuts that hold the cover down are already off. The nuts that hold the arm to the assembly or to the wiper assembly, they're off. They were 1/2 inch or 13 mil. I just dropped something. I don't know what that was. Whatever. Anyway, so they're off. So I'll just pull these off first. Up and out. So put these in this box. I've already loosened up everything as well. This cover comes off next. I want to get the bonnet back on too. You got to be careful with these things. They break so easy. So I'll get this off. Put this in the tray. And there's the wiper motor. Now, this is that GTO wiper motor in there. For the life of me, oh look at that. I've also got a big nest of friends in there. Gross. Living in the car. I can just imagine where they got all this stuff from. So anyway, it looks like it's about 8mm holding that on, and this just seeing if they chewed the wire, and they haven't. Disconnect this wiring I did here. That's all done. Yeah, so I'll disconnect the arm, and there's a nut under here I've got to undo. Yeah, so I'll undo that arm and I'll take that off. So 8mm, I say. Okay guys, I've undone the bolts. There was 3 here. They're 5/16 8mm headed bolts. Goes right through. This one here actually holds the ground for the wiper motor, and one there. So 1, 2, 3. As you can see, there was a nest. They had a nest under there, so I'm going to pull. This comes out as an assembly, so I'm going to pull this out right here. Clean out behind here, and I'll just get the other wiper motor, the GTO, and they fit on so nice and tight. Here's the wiper motor that Mike sent me over from Australia. Here it is here. Plugs into here. This one here I had to modify so it'll fit in. I found out these have got some sort of a sensing in them. They sense how much water there is on the windshield or windscreen, and they kind of like slow down on their own. So, well, that's what I read. I don't know how true it is. I don't know how to modify it so it'll park in the right position, but this doesn't. This used to park wherever it wanted to park. So next thing I'll do is simply unbolt it from the underside here, which is like that. Unbolt them through, take this bolt off, yeah, and I'll put it back on. And then I'll clean all this out, so let me get to it. Undo that. Now, I don't know the orientation of this, so these bolts here are 10mm. There's 3 of them that hold the motor on, same as that, 1, 2, 3. This is the one, if you have a look at my earlier videos from about 2 years ago, about this time actually, February, March, maybe a little bit later, I'm putting this wiper motor on. Now I'm putting a VR one back on it, and I'll just lift it up. I had to make this shaft because, if you have a look at the video, I actually explained that I had to put these are VZ ends on here, or the GTO, and they fit on so nice and tight, and I had to kind of like work it out, and I put a tube in here. I do have another one, but they're in storage, so that's all welded up for now, so that's gonna be good for now. So I'm not gonna, until I find it, I'm not gonna muck around with it. Just gonna install this. I've got wipers. By the time I try to find it, it'll be a month. It's all in the stuff behind you. So 3 bolts, undo these 3 bolts. Beautiful. Tighten this down. Okay, make sure they're all done tight. Go, there they are. Put this on here, the same position it was in, about here. Put the nut back on. Right guys, I'm going to clean up this grossness here. Alright guys, I'm going to put this back on. Hey guys, I've got everything together. The wipers seem pretty slow. It could be a couple of things. The battery could be down a bit because, you know, I've had it on and doing stuff, but they are pretty slow in all speeds. I'll just turn it on. So, I mean, that's first or second actually. That's a little bit faster. That's top speed. I mean, it seems to be having a bit of trouble. Maybe it could have the battery could be down. I would think it's down. I think once it's running, it'll go a lot faster than that. But they're working and they park. Oh, they're off. So they park. They're doing what they're going to do, but I think the battery is a bit gone down a bit. It's a bit flat. So I'm going to put it on charge heat tonight. As you can see, guys, I didn't film any of this, putting this on, but it actually worked pretty good considering I'm by myself. Put the bonnet on by myself, had to. Been wanting to do it for a few days, but yeah, so just getting this on. Well, that's about it there. I just went ahead and adjusted that. I just loosened that side up a little bit and picked up on it, and it squeezed this side. So now it's got a decent sort of a line up that side there, and matches good at the front here. Main thing. Eyebrow's not bad around to the bumper. Same with this side, and this has got the same sort of gap up this side. Alright, there's that. Car's filthy, isn't it? And then, you know, this curve here, it's all lined up. Shuts good, and it's good. Yep. God, I've got to clean it. Bad. It is dull. There's dents in it. The car, I mean, it's not a heap of shit, but like there's a few dents in it. And when I do the LS conversion, I'm going to repaint the engine bay so that's all finished off and nice. And then, you know, I'm obviously going to do the body, but I'm going to do the conversion first. I don't care what it looks like. I'm not going to paint it now and then do the conversion. That makes no sense. I'll probably redo the interior, put decent suspension under it, and then that's about it. And just take it to shows or whatever, or, you know, daily. I don't know, but I'm going to paint it white again. I'm not going any special fancy colour. It's going to be white with the red body mouldings, and that's it, blacked out. You know, yeah, I could have painted these again, right? But I will, I'll get to it. It's not something I have to do to get on the road. That's something I can do on a rainy day. Pull them off, paint them, put them back on, put new, wiper blades on it, stuff like that. Paint all these up again. All these, I'll get all these, clean up all this. A heater tap as well, a new heater tap. Got that, I'll install that another time. That's not a big deal to do. So, first thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to install the center bearing. And 100% sure this goes on first. Yep, it does. This taps on first, right, so that goes on there. Right, and I remember my other one was really loose, and I didn't even think about maybe it has to go back. That other one that I took off this was really, really loose. So here's the old one that was off it. Well, it wasn't old, it's 3 years old. So I'm going to take this back off, put it over here, and then I'm going to try this one again. And yeah, see that's look at that. That just, it's nothing, sloppy. Yeah, this one here already better. Yep, that's going to be way better. So what I'll do is I'll just get out all the tools that I need. And actually I can probably use this turned around the other way and then tap that on with a hammer that I don't have here. So I'll go get a hammer. I'll just go get a hammer and a few tools, and then I'm pretty sure the bearing goes obviously with this lip here. See, there's a lip that'll go this way, and then I'll tap that on, and then this dust shield will go on. They give you two, like I said, for 2 different applications. Obviously I can't get it on yet. It's got to go all the way back there. And here's the other dust shield, and then you got the circlip that holds all that together. So let me get some tools organised and I'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so I probably should have a tube or something that'll sit in there, and I don't. I tried looking for one, so I'm just gonna punch it back with this. Just drift here, and I'm gonna hit the old one, so you know what I mean, not to make any damage, but just slowly put it back on there. Getting there. Like, I wish I had a piece of pipe. I looked around, I thought I had a couple of pieces of tubing, but I don't. Don't know if I've got to get one for the bearing, but we'll see. I'll just keep drifting it back. I'm sure my hand's in the way, but that's a way better fit than the original one. What's going on there? Pretty good, actually. You guys probably going, what a rough bastard. Go get a pipe. Yeah, I know. I should. But just trying to get this done and get the ute back on the road. Alright, that's just about done. Yeah, that's good. That's done. That's nice and tight. Yeah, that's... so that's what that looks like there. All on. Now that bearing sits on... The bearing sits out. So the bearing sits out on the shaft and slides in like this. Now, what a lot of people do is they get the old bearing, cut it off so it's just got the race part on it and tap it down. So that's what I'll do. I'll do the same thing because, again, I don't have a tube. Okay, so I started that bearing on there and I took the race off the other old bearing and just cut it, right? So it and stretched it out a bit so it covers the race on the new bearing, and then I just hit this in. I can just feel the groove, and it's going to be that thick. And on circlips, there's a shoulder and a round section. I always put the shoulder part, the flat edge of the circlip on this way. So get it on there, and then sit it in there. And I just can't see it yet. I mean, I can see I'll just give it one more tap. Yeah, that's pretty solid there. Turn it around this side, go quarter. Go quarter. Last quarter. I'll get some circlip pliers, but I'll just use these ones. Whoop. Just don't overstretch the circlip, guys, if you ever do this. Just enough to get it over. So it's over the first hurdle. I found them. They were in the pliers drawer, would you believe it? Just makes life easier. Oh, it's not on yet. Just don't overstretch them. Shoulder to the back. Push it on. And then I'll just use this. Still not on. It is now. Just lightly tap it back, nice and square. There you go, went pop. And I always make sure they turn on their own. Get it in the hole. There you go, see how that's turning nice and freely? That's where it's got to be. Yep. Alright, so that's the bearing installed. Then you've got the dust shield that goes on. You've got to pick the right dust shield, which is... This one here is really, really loose. This one here ain't going to go in. So it's this one here. This one here goes like this. There you go. And to stop that, excuse me, stop that from moving, I'm going to get my chisel here. Like a little pointed chisel like this. And I noticed the other one beforehand was like that. Make sure it's back. I go 1. Okay, so I've got the centre bearing bracket and retainer that bolts to the underneath, and that retains the bearing to that. That's all bolted on. So next I'm going to lube up the centre bearing. Just going to pack this full of grease. There it is there. Over here, like that. Put you in here. Just gonna simply pack that full of grease using the moly lithium grease. That's what I read. That's what I read to use. So that's what I'm gonna use. Just gonna get my fingers in there and just pack that right full of grease. Yep. Hey guys, I'm back. So, you know, you didn't see me put the rest of the tail shaft together because it really kicked my butt. So one day I'm gonna have a lift. One day, that's a big dream of mine, is to have a lift and all the good tools. But anyway, I put together the tail shaft, the drive shaft, the center bearing, and that had to get it lined up, and it was legitimately kicking my butt. So I didn't tape it. Frustration, I just went ahead and done it. So now I'm just going to bolt up the tail shaft and scratch all the paint that I just painted. There's enough lube on that for now. Let's have a look. Gotta turn this around. Let's get this close. Slip that in there. Okay. Did I put the plate upside down, didn't I? Because that goes like that. Yep, the plate's upside down. So I've got this plate upside down here. It's supposed to be the other way. Yeah, it's supposed to be the other way, so I've got to undo these two 13mm bolts. I keep leaving the battery on, and yeah, battery keeps going flat. I just keep on leaving it running. So that's why I died then, guys. But now I'm just doing up the centre bearing. It's got the 5LK pointing this way. I had to flip this around. You probably saw that. I had that the wrong way. I don't know why, but I did. Second guessing myself about 10 times, I still managed to get it wrong. Now I'm running it without the shims or the washers they put underneath because it's lowered. I figure that 5 or 7mm that it's here and the lowered suspension, I read that the FE2 suspension cars and Utes, they never ran spacers, so I want to see what that's like. But at the moment, the drive shaft is almost pretty well straight, you know what I mean? So because it's got the suspensions all loaded up, so I'm just going to leave it there for now, see how it goes. And I think the nuts are 15 and the bolt is the nuts 15 and the bolts. If I can get something to fit. Yeah, there it goes. These nuts, I've got to replace these when I get a chance. All right, guys, gave the Ute a bit of a bath. Took it for a drive last night. I don't want to drive it too far and for too long because I really want to put that transmission cooler on this thing. But I gave it a bit of a bath. It really does need a good bath, but taillight is off. I've got to change that bulb out, and I've got one. It's got really dim headlights, and I don't know if it's a ground or what, but apparently these don't have, I don't know, there's something about the grounding on these headlights. I don't understand it, but there's ground right there on the side there. That could be the issue. And also I've got very slow wipers, so I don't know if it's got a grounding issue, which I'll try to find out. But first things first, I'm gonna remove the bumper. 1, 2, 3 bolt screws there for the grill section. And then there's a couple here, up here, right, and these kind of like, and this section here like fits into the, you know, the bumper fits into the guard. There's, I think, 2 behind the rego plate or around the rego plate. I can't remember from memory. Yeah, I put the Victoria plate on the front. In Kentucky, we only need one on the back. They only give you one, so there's only got one on the back. So I put this Victoria plate. I can't remember if this plate was off this Ute, or I had a Toyota Corolla and I bought the plates over, but we can run another plate or whatever you want, as long as it's not swearing or racist or whatever. So I just put the Victoria plate back on it, and there's a few screws on this side and a couple underneath. So let me start removing all this, and I'll get it off, and then we'll see where we're going to put this transmission cooler that I got off my truck. So guys, I got the bumper on, and I forgot about this. It was pretty rusty, and I said to myself when I pulled the original bumper off, because that isn't the original bumper to the car, the other one had a big crack in it, and this was under it. And I said, well, when I get it to the States, I'll sandblast that, and you know, whatever touches I've got to do to it, I'll touch it up then. Excuse me. But for this summer, it's going to be fine. When I do pull this motor back out, obviously I'm going to repaint all the engine bay, and I'll get that all blasted. The K frame, all the anything that's got this sort of shit on it. I don't know why this car in some areas looks like that. In some areas it's perfect, like all the sill panels and stuff. Not a spot of rust in it anywhere. Down the bottom of the quarter panels, nothing. It's just like, I don't know. It was just like that when I got it in Australia, but I'm not too worried about it. I put on some Rust-Oleum rust dissolver, this stuff here. I buy this or the converter. The converter turns it to black, and this will change it to another color. But the other stuff is like puts a primer on it as well. But obviously I take it off. But by the time I put this bumper bar back on, that'll be like sealed and cleaned, and until I get it sandblasted. Looks shit, I know it. But if I'm gonna pull this motor back out, the bonnet, pull the bumper off to put an LS in it, I'm gonna repaint the engine bay. I'm gonna paint all that front. It'll be mint, believe me. Am I gonna do it right now? No, because it'll be off the road for bloody a month, and there goes all the spring here. I want to drive it, and just face it, you won't see it underneath that bumper. Here's the bumper. I took it off. There's like a bolt up here and a screw there that goes to the bottom of the guard, right, where I see how I put that tape on it. Then there's these clip onto the front, and I'll show you where they clip on. They can like slide into it. This bolt was supposed to stay on the body. It should be a nut, right? And that's that other screw. And here there's 1, 2, 3 screws, and then there's the 2 major screws that go there. And on there, see there, that one and that one, they're like plastic tabs. But to get to these corner ones, I undid a few of these clips here. Here they are here. You just undo them. There's one there, there's one there, and here they are here. I think I did 2 or 3 of them. So undo, take off 3, and this will see it's out of the way. So, oh, don't break it. But yeah, I just pulled that out of the way, and it's out of the way. So now I'm going to start mounting this. This is a transmission cooler from I suppose this is about 96, 97. Well, they call them a CK trucker. over here, but the same body style as 88 to 98 Chevy truck. It's the old body style. I've seen a few floating around Australia. 4L60E, no problem. So I'm going to adapt this to that somehow. I'll do it. I'll look at it. Maybe a couple of screws up here, about here. Try to miss the, what do you call it? The fan, and attach it to the bottom somehow. Then I'll run the wires, I'll run the lines to the transmission, which is on this side. I don't know why it's on this side, but they cross over on these cars for the radiator, but I'll just run them to those lines there. It'll be fine. All right, so I'll get that done. I'll adapt that and see how we go. Right, champions, now I've just got temp screws up here just to hold it. I'm not going to go to the proper screws. I'll probably just go 1/4 inch bolts. What's that, about 6mm bolts. But you know, if I do it right now and go undo them, they strip out. So I go smaller size first, get everything so it's all mocked in, and then yeah. So I've got to hope that this will clear that scallop that got at the front, and I think it will, where it is just. If it's really close, I'll just put a bit of rubber across the front, like a piece of, like you can get it from Clark Rubber there in Melbourne, but like something like that, like a U shape, and I'll put it on the bumper to stop it from hurting this. But I'm going to mount that probably where it is there. I've got it level. I gave it a bit of a twist so it sits square to the radiator, and it does, because this has got a curve on it up here. So I just gave it a bit of a twister bracket so it sits, well, halfway level. And I think that'll get plenty of airflow, all of it. And here's that stuff. It's been on for half an hour now, and now you can start seeing it, it's turning into metal. You see it? So it'll convert. Then, like I said, I'll blast that and it'll be painted again. Same with all that front, all that engine bay. I'm going to say it 100 times because I know someone will go, oh, that's rusty. And it's not rusty, it's surface rust that I don't know what happened. I don't know why. It lived on the peninsula in Melbourne for a while, and I think that had a lot to do with it in the Mornington Peninsula. But like I said, there's no like rust, there's no holes in it. So that's why I bought it. So it was cheap, it was $700, and it had a bad drive shaft and a tail shaft, and the uni was, it had a bad tail shaft, and the center bearing was worn out on it. So I bought it, put one in it, but that didn't last 2 years, but hopefully this one will. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys. Okay, guys. I've got the transmission cooler mounted in. I put 2 decent screws up there, 1/4 inch screws. Hopefully the bumper should clear these nuts. If not, I'll put some pan head screws on here so to clear. 88 to 98 transmission cooler. I made these bottom brackets up. Left all this factory. All I did was I cut down the top of those down, sat it down so it all clear. I've ran brand new 3/8 transmission lines, and I used the original protectors that were on these lines, just where it goes through the rail, so you know, it gives it some sort of guard against it rubbing. I'll put another, like I'll put a zip tie here or something like that. I've got this one to do next, and here it is here. So here it is, that one there, and this one here. I might have to cut it down a little bit more, or probably angle it like that. That one there, I'm going to put a bubble flare on the end of it, just a single flare, sorry. There you go, just a single flare on it here. And I usually go up, see how far I went, that's pretty long, and I always put 2 clamps on there. I'm using fuel injection clamps, at least one on it, fuel injection, and then a standard one, just so it resists the urge to pop off. Took off the old lines. They're all pretty nasty actually as well. They're the original ones. They're 5/16 on the Commodore. Someone said they're 3/8, but when I upgrade the transmission, I'm going to go 3/8 because they're a bit small for I mean, they're factory they're factory VR ones, but and I've got 5/8 lines on it now. Not much difference, but I've got 2 clamps holding it down. It shouldn't go anywhere. All right. Like I said, I'll put a pipe thread on that now. Okay guys, here's our fitting. I put this end on it. Just a quick sort of well, it's a single flare, but I actually pulled the inside up just a little bit. Now that hose will go probably where my dirty thumb is there, and I'll put 2 clamps on it. One there, one there. That isn't gonna go anywhere. Guarantee you that. So that's just security. If you just have it, like what? If you just have that, like, you know, no sort of, you know, stop on it or anything, what's stopping it from just blowing off, driving down the road and destroying your transmission? This is about trying to save on it. So I'll put this on, that'll click in the spot. There's a plastic, like a retainer thing there. It's on the bench here. Right here. This will go onto this end here. And I'll get it all ready. Alright guys, I got it running, got it together, put a couple of ties there just to hold them together. Got the protector stuff on there, that wrap going through the rail. I don't think it should wear here anywhere. I can always put a bit of rubber here just to stop that hose chafing on that, but I don't think so. I've got some thin rubber that I can, almost like a tyre, almost like an inner tube I can put there just to wrap it in. But yeah, it's all mounted, it's pretty sturdy, strong. It's away from the fan, nothing's touching. Just gotta hope that the bumper fits on. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. So the next thing I'll do is I'll put the bumper back on. And hey, remember this disaster area? And I put that treater on it. Look at it now. Like, completely different. It looks worse than it really is. So I can prime that up. There's no need, because this stuff here is like a primer. It won't re-rust. It can't. But when I get that blasted, that'll be gone. And all this as well. Ooh, we're getting some wind out here. Holy shit. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put the bumper on. I got it running, so you know, make sure there was no leaks. There's none. I feel the hose is starting to warm up a bit here. Not that I should, but. And it's all hooked up down here. Double hose clamps again. One fuel injection, one just stock hose clamp. But yeah, neater. Now you can pull the radiator out, just undo the radiator hoses, and you don't have to worry about transmission lines and mess. So that's easy now. Beautiful. I had a radiator leak, but I don't know, it disappeared. I don't know, maybe it was just water or overflow or whatever it was, but it's not leaking anymore. And I've got to work out why the headlights aren't working. They're like in the Parkers. If anyone knows why, if I don't work it out before the next video, I want to know why my headlights don't work. I'm going to test to see if I've got power to the actual headlights, because the headlights are on, but it's like Parkers only. I'll be back. Alright guys, got the front bumper on. It's outside. Went for a drive. It drives really good, no overheating. There's the cooler there, so it'll get plenty of, can you see it? It's right there. I don't know what you're talking about. There it is. It gets plenty of air. I'm gonna pop the bonnet. Oh no, I'm not gonna pop the bonnet. There's no need to, but I found out what was wrong with the headlights. So the take before this one, I was complaining about the headlights. Well, I'll tell you something, what it was. Now I have headlights, both sides. Yeah, both bulbs or globes, if you want to call them globes, were no good. So that was the problem with it. I had one high beam working. I think this side high beam was working, but both of them were not working at all. So Parkers. And there it is with just the Parkers. So yeah, playing over here too. Pulled the transmission out of my truck, 4L60E, shit the bed. Man, I hate working outside. I mean, I've got the garage, but the thing won't move anymore, and I've got no room in that garage at the moment. So I decided that I'll pull it out here. I've got another transmission for it. Yeah, that was rebuilt 6-7 years ago, but she's pulled a lot of trailers, let me tell you. 4L60E, good transmission if you look after them. Obviously I didn't, because that's why it's like that, but it's always a workhorse. This truck is a workhorse, old Silverado. So anyway, get a new converter for it, so I'm just draining it. And yeah, well, there you go. All right, in this video here, you know, car come up well, bumpers back on, it's got a cooler on it, got a lot done to the motor, new valve springs, seals, cleaned up the inside a bit, got all the mouse shit and house out of it. So I also put the transmission in my Silverado this weekend. This video is probably going to come out a little bit later than my usual sort of 1-2 week video spots, but been busy. So anyway guys, I appreciate you tagging along and watching my videos progress. I really want to get into some Tri-5 stuff, but just the house is slowing me down with that. But anyway, so just tag along for a bit of a cruise. We're going to go get some petrol for the truck. I don't know how much is in it. The petrol gauge is not working, so yeah, just come for a bit of a cruise, guys.